Okay, thank you everyone, and I appreciate you coming to attend this breakout session. My name is Rob Whiteley. I'm the VP of Marketing at Hedvig, and I'm going to talk a little bit about providing a single software-defined solution for OpenStack, and a little bit about how Hedvig provides that. So I won't do a whole lot of storytelling and build-up, but just so that we're sort of all on the same page. I think many of you know we're sort of clearly underway in the journey to cloud. I think most of our customers are stuck in a world where they're trying to use the cloud to drive innovation, but they also have a lot of traditional workloads that still kind of keep the business running. They pay the bills, so to speak. And part of it is, how do I have a platform that's complete enough and has the diversity to support both these worlds, such that I'm not constantly investing in islands of infrastructure, even for initiatives like OpenStack. But this focus of innovation is really what got us thinking. And some of the recent data from the Superuser survey, we know that innovation is the top thing driving, so I'll just focus on that kind of top bar there, is in terms of what these clouds are about, right? So a lot of the legacy infrastructure is about cutting cost. A lot of the cloud is about speed and business and how do I get ahead on innovation. And so we really wanted to make sure that storage was actually an enabler of that and not a bottleneck. The other thing we know is that OpenStack is increasingly moving to more production environments. And the reason why that's critical is we've had a lot of folks come to us and say, whatever storage solution we were first doing with OpenStack ultimately ran into some sort of production issue. It either had performance or scale issues, or it didn't support the diversity of capabilities. Very simple one, we have an IT policy that says we take snapshots every 15 minutes. Well, that's not as easy in a lot of the traditional storage solutions. Or if you have one of the older ones that support snapshots, then it probably trades off the flexibility of being able to do it in all software, right? So we're sort of stuck in this world where there wasn't a perfect. What we tried to do is come in a little bit about Hedvig and what we do in the software-defined storage space. So Hedvig was founded by a gentleman named Avinash Lakshman. So he's the guy who invented Cassandra. So no stranger to building distributed scale-out software platforms. And what he really wanted to do was take some of that knowledge that he had learned and bring it down to the storage tier. The reason why we think this is a particularly good fit for things like OpenStack, and I'll be the first to admit we are not open source, so Hedvig is a closed source product. We're traditional software-defined storage. I know that word means a lot of things to a lot of people. Our particular definition of software-defined storage is that you take our software, you deploy it directly onto a commodity kind of x86 or ARM server, and we then cluster all those servers together to make your storage pool. And then out of that storage pool, we present block file and object interfaces. So what that means in the OpenStack world is we do support Cinder and Swift in the same platform. Now, there's nothing between our software and that hardware, right? So we deploy bare metal directly onto that. We do all the volume management, we do all the monitoring, do all the data layout, so we're a complete storage platform for that perspective. What makes us a bit unique is, and kind of going back to Avinash's experience in distributed systems, is we provide the scale and resiliency of an object store, but we have the performance of a block store. And a lot of what we've done to achieve that is specific around our metadata architecture, which is probably outside the scope of a 12-minute presentation, but happy to go into it for anyone who has questions. What that enables us to do is have a pretty advanced storage stack. So that means that we have all the usual suspects: dedupe, compression, caching, tiering. We can do things like clones and snapshots. But we can also do that at a very, very granular level, which means you can carve up a volume in our platform, something that we call a virtual disk. And all those things I just rattled off, there's actually 12 attributes in total, can be toggled on or off at a virtual disk level of granularity. And so what that means is every VM or every application, however you choose to think about it, can actually have its own storage policy. The other thing that's unique about this is that we support inherently a multi-site, multi-region architecture. So our software can be deployed across many physical sites. And that means when you're writing those storage policies, one of them can be a DR policy, where you can actually say, I want this VM or this application to be protected across different sites, and you can actually specify those sites. You can even spin up instances of the software in a public cloud and actually stripe things together between OpenStack clouds or even OpenStack and other types of public clouds. So it's overall pretty flexible platform. It's all API driven, so you could program directly against it. And so for us, supporting in Cinder and Swift was simply a matter of kind of providing that level of interface into the platform. And so part of what we're trying to do is help companies that are specifically trying to do Cinder and Swift in a single platform, or they're looking to do Cinder in a multi-site, multi-region environment, and they're trying to figure out how am I going to solve that cross-data center replication, cross-cloud replication. So that's pretty much our primary goal. If I double-click just a little bit, from our Cinder driver, it's pretty straightforward. Looks like everybody else's Cinder implementation. One of the things that we take advantage of is the QoS spec. And so that's where you can enter all of those different attributes. And so it's a simple matter of going in and specifying whether you want dedupe or compression. And so you can actually completely manage the Hedvig platform from inside of OpenStack Horizon. There's actually no need to go inside the Hedvig UI at all, or CLI for that matter. And so we do provide that natively inside of the OpenStack experience. We also allow you to bundle a lot of the policies, so you can create common classes of service. So here it's probably hard to tell this resolution, but you could say I want my common dedupe disk to not only have deduplication enabled, but a replication factor of 3. I want that to be replicated across these data centers such that your cloud users or developers can simply go in and pick from that list. So IT creates the policy set once and then allows them to just pick instead of or in place of actually going in and having to type out every time what you want those policies to be. The Swift side is also pretty straightforward in that we do it straight from inside of the OpenStack Horizon interface. It's part of the create container. Everything that you see here will then be just done directly into the Hedvig platform. So Hedvig can actually operate as a Swift server. And what we'll do is we'll actually take care of all the same capabilities you saw on the previous. There isn't quite the concept of a QoS spec yet, but so what we do is on the back end, you can just create a flat config file such that whenever an object store is created, it automatically applies a certain policy set against that. So same capabilities, and in fact, for us, all the capabilities of the platform are available across block, file, and object. Now, one little thing that'll be a bit strange is we don't support Manila yet today. It's on the roadmap. Today, we can actually supply NFS through the Cinder driver. So it allows us, for all intents and purposes, to have a multi-reader environment via a Cinder interface. But as and when we see demand for Manila, that will be included as well. One last thing that I'll just kind of get into. It's interesting. Okay, so this is just a quick look at what the backend Hedvig UI would look like. What we're just showing here is that if you create something in the Horizon interface, this is what it would look like on the backend. Again, there's no need to actually drop down into our UI, but just in this particular case, you can see how the object store was created and what the various properties are. And then what we allow you to do from this screen is a lot of the debugging and its capabilities as well. So figuring out exactly where your data resides and being able to track down the multi-region, multi-site capabilities here as well. So, all right, last thing I just want to do, so we also support a Fuel plugin. The folks at Mirantis have validated our Cinder driver, and we're now looking at the ability to plug in directly through the Fuel interface to ease some of the installation capabilities. So most of our customers today happen to be Mirantis customers, so that's why we've done this first. And we're looking at validating other OpenStack distributions and deployment methodologies as well. So let me just finish by saying that at the end of the day, one of the things that we're trying to do is provide a single software-defined platform. So we would be an alternative or replacement to some of the platforms or some of the projects like Ceph for an environment that's looking to do a little bit more feature and functionality and a little bit more performance and scale. So fitting a lot more for enterprise production, OpenStack. Certainly happy to answer questions or take more. You can go to hedviginc.com/OpenStack or follow us on any of our social channels. And then me and my team will be right outside if anybody has any immediate questions. So I guess beyond that, that's all I wanted to do is just come in and kind of give you guys a quick glimpse in terms of what we're up to. So really appreciate your time today. Thank you.